Hey everyone, ready to dive into a career that's essential to keeping, well, everything running. We're talking about greasers today and how to totally rock that interview.
It's a role that's in high demand, more than people might realize. With the right skills and a little prep, you can really stand out.
Totally. We're using RoleCatcher's Career Guide, an interview guide for greasers, breaking down what employers want and tackling those make-or-break interview questions.
And one thing the Career Guide points out is the job outlook. It's projected to grow 5% over the next decade. More manufacturing, more construction, more machines that need expert care.
That's awesome. A good sign for anyone considering this path. It's not just about the job, it's about being part of something big.
Exactly. So let's jump right into those interview questions. I always tell people, preparation is key.
Couldn't agree more. So let's say you get hit with, can you explain your experience with automotive maintenance? Sounds simple enough, but what are they really after?
Transferable skills, that's the name of the game. Even if you haven't been a greaser before, think about any time you've worked on cars, fixed things, anything mechanical.
So like rebuilding that engine in your garage totally counts.
100%. Or fixing bikes, tinkering with anything that has moving parts. It's about understanding how things work, getting your hands dirty. That's what they want to hear.
Showing that initiative, that hands-on approach, makes a difference. Okay, but what if they throw a curveball? Like, what is your experience with customizing cars?
This one throws people off. But again, transferable skills. Think about any project where you had to problem solve, get creative.
So even restoring an old bike or tricking out a skateboard, those could be relevant.
Absolutely. It shows you're not afraid to go beyond the basics, figure things out. Did you fabricate a part? Find a workaround for a missing tool? That's gold.
And that's where having the RoleCatcher Career Guide is so helpful. It lays out those core skills. Troubleshooting, grease gun operation, working safely, it all connects.
Don't forget, you're telling a story. Make it engaging. Highlight those aha moments where you faced a challenge and nailed it.
Love it. All right, let's talk tech. The question, how do you stay up to date on the latest automotive trends and technologies, can feel intimidating.
Show them you're a lifelong learner. Mention any trade magazines. Those are great role catcher lists. Some good ones or online forums, even YouTube channels you follow.
That's like a whole world of lubrication enthusiasts out there sharing tips and tricks.
Exactly. The point is to show you're actively learning, even in your free time, staying ahead of the curve.
Okay, time for a question that can make or break you. How do you handle difficult customers or situations? Everyone's got a story, but how do you make it interview gold?
Choose a real-life example, doesn't have to be work-related, that shows your communication and problem-solving skills.
So instead of my old boss was a nightmare, it's more like, I had a situation where expectations were unclear, I talked to them directly, and we found a solution that worked.
There you go. Communication, problem-solving, staying calm, all essential for a greaser.
Right, turning a negative into a positive. Okay, what about this one? What are some of the biggest challenges you anticipate facing as a greaser?
They want to see you've thought about the realities of the job, that you're not going in blind.
So working in tight spaces, dealing with different machinery, maybe some on-the-spot problem solving?
Exactly. It could be extreme temperatures, heights, managing multiple tasks at once.
How do you answer that honestly without sounding unsure of yourself?
It's a balance. Acknowledge the challenges, but highlight your ability to adapt and overcome.
I know working as a greaser can be demanding, but I thrive in those environments. I'm a quick learner. Something like that.
Perfect. You've thought about it. You're not afraid of a challenge. You're ready to learn and grow.
Nice. It's all about framing it the right way. So we talked about those core skills, how to spin those experiences, really make your answers sing.
Because it's not just about what you've done. It's about how you talk about it, making those connections for the hiring manager.
Totally. And speaking of getting that edge, let's talk about something really cool, RoleCatcher's AI features. How can this tech help our listeners nail their interview prep?
Think of it this way. You've done your research, you've practiced your answers, but how do you tailor them to each specific company? That's where RoleCatcher comes in.
It's like going beyond the generic answers, making it personal.
Exactly. RoleCatcher's AI looks at tons of job descriptions, figures out what matters most to employers. Let's say a company is big on preventative maintenance. RoleCatcher picks up on that and tells you how to emphasize your experience.
Oh, it's like having a secret decoder ring for job postings. Mention preventative maintenance, they love that.
Even better, you can actually put your practice answers into RoleCatcher. The AI gives you feedback, like, Real-time coaching.
No way. So might suggest adding an example or tweaking your wording to match their style.
Exactly. It's all about putting your best foot forward for each opportunity, no more guessing games.
That's seriously cool.
Oh.
Okay, but even with awesome AI, nothing beats good old-fashioned prep.
Right. You got it. So, back to those questions, let's arm our listeners with what they need to succeed.
Let's do it. We talked about problem solving. What are some other questions that really test that skill?
One you'll probably hear is, describe a time you were under pressure to meet a deadline. How'd you handle it?
Classic. Greasers can't exactly say, give me a week on that oil change. Things get real fast.
Exactly. They want to know you can think on your feet. So think of a time you had to deliver no matter what.
And it doesn't have to be car-related?
Nope. Could be a project at work, even something at home where you had to fix it NLW.
Okay, so like, if you were slammed at work during a huge sale, had to handle a million things at once, that counts.
Totally. It's about staying calm, thinking clearly. Those are the skills that translate.
It's like showing you can handle the heat, literally and figuratively. Okay, what about teamwork?
Teamwork. They'll probably ask, tell me about a time you worked with a team to achieve a goal. What was your role? How'd you contribute?
Makes sense. You can't exactly grease a giant crane all by yourself, right? You need a crew.
You got it. They want to know you can communicate, collaborate, all that good stuff.
So think back to any time you were part of a team school project, volunteering, whatever. What'd you do? How'd you all work together?
And don't be shy about highlighting the times you went above and beyond, helped your teammates.
It's your time to shine. Okay, next question.
All right, this one's about initiative. They might ask, tell me about a time you saw a problem and fixed it, even though it wasn't your job.
Interesting. So not just following orders, but actually seeing what needs to be done.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Shows you're proactive, a problem solver, that's valuable.
So anytime you spoke up about something that could be better, even if it seems small.
Yep. Did you bring it to someone's attention? Or even better, did you try to fix it yourself?
Even if it wasn't a huge issue, just taking that initiative says a lot.
100%. Now, let's talk safety. They might ask, how do you stay up to date on safety rules for machinery maintenance?
Obviously, safety is huge in this field. You're dealing with powerful equipment, can't mess around with that.
Exactly. Employers want to know you take it seriously. So first things first, get familiar with OSHA regulations.
Good point. Know the rules of the game.
Right. And if you've got any safety training, like first aid, CPR, that's great to mention too.
Even if it's not a formal certification, just showing that you care about safety goes a long way.
Absolutely. You can say something like, I always make sure I know the safety procedures and I follow them carefully.
Shows you're responsible, thinking about everyone's well-being. All right, what else?
They might ask about the tools you use, like what tools and equipment are you familiar with?
That one seems pretty straightforward. Time to show off your toolbox knowledge.
Exactly. Think about the tools you use all the time. Grease guns, wrenches, all that.
Don't just list them though, right? Explain how you actually use them.
You got it. Instead of just grease gun, say, I'm good with all kinds of grease guns, manual, pneumatic, and I know how to pick the right grease for the job. Something like that.
Much better. Shows you know your stuff, not just repeating names.
And if you've used any specialized tools before, even if it was a one-time thing, mention it.
Adds to your experience. Okay, we've covered a ton here, but before we wrap up this section, let's talk about RoleCatcher's AI one more time. It sounds super helpful, but some people might be iffy about using AI for this kind of thing. What would you say to them?
I get it. New tech can be a little scary. But honestly, RoleCatcher's AI isn't about replacing you. It's about making you even better.
Right, no one wants to sound like a robot in an interview.
Exactly. RoleCatcher just helps you bring your A game. It's like having a coach in your corner, helping you refine your pitch and really connect with those hiring managers.
It's all about using every tool you've got to succeed.
Now you're talking.
It's amazing how much goes on behind the scenes to keep everything moving, and greasers are a big part of that.
For sure. It's a career that's always in demand. And for anyone who likes to work with their hands, who likes to see how things work, it's a great option.
Totally. And speaking of options, let's talk about RoleCatcher's AI one last time. We've mentioned it throughout this deep dive, but I'm curious to hear more about how it can help someone land their dream greaser job.
Well, it's all about making your application stand out. RoleCatcher's AI is like having a personal assistant who knows exactly what employers are looking for.
Okay, that sounds promising. So how does it actually work?
Let's say you're working on your resume, right?
Right.
You put in your skills and experience, and RoleCatcher's AI gets to work. It compares your info to tons of greaser job descriptions and tells you what keywords to use, what to highlight.
So it's like it knows the secret language of hiring managers.
Pretty much. It helps you speak their language, make sure your resume gets noticed.
That's super helpful. And this works for cover letters too, right?
Absolutely. And it goes even further than that. Let's say you're applying for two different greaser jobs, one that's all about preventative maintenance and another that's more about repairs.
Okay, I see where you're going with this.
RoleCatcher's AI will help you tailor your application for each job. So you're not sending out a generic resume and cover letter to everyone. You're showing each employer that you understand their specific needs.
Now that's smart. It's like having a customized resume for every single application.
Exactly. And remember how we talked about tailoring your interview answers? RoleCatcher's AI can help with that too.
Oh yeah, that was a big takeaway from this deep dive.
Well, RoleCatcher takes it to the next level. You can actually practice your interview answers with the AI. It'll give you feedback, tell you if you're on the right track.
No way, so it's like having a personal interview coach.
Exactly. It might tell you to add a specific example or rephrase something to make it stronger.
Wow, that's incredibly helpful. And the more you use it, the more it learns about you, right?
You got it. It's constantly learning and improving, so you're always getting the best possible guidance.
That's amazing. I love how technology can be used to empower job seekers like this.
Me too.
Yeah,
It's all about giving people the tools they need to succeed.
well said. So to recap, it's clear that greasers are in demand, and with the right preparation, anyone listening can absolutely ace that interview.
Absolutely. Do your research, practice those answers, and remember, a little bit of grease can take you a long way.
Couldn't agree more. And for that extra edge, definitely check out RoleCatcher. It's like having a secret weapon for your job search. That's it for today's deep dive, everyone. Thanks for joining us.